All right, day 2 of section 5. This one's kind of heavy. There's a lot of things that are involved in this one. Okay, but ultimately what we're going to do is we're going to do a lot of synthetic dividing today, which you guys, for the most part, did pretty well on. But what we're going to do, there's two things that we're going to talk about today. First one is going to be the rational zeros theorem, and the second one's going to be the irrational conjugates theorem. So there's going to be two things that we talk about mainly, but we're going to do is a lot of different techniques in order to solve it. The first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to give you what they call the rational roots theorem. Okay? Now, why it's called a theorem is not because it's from geometry, but because it's something that was proven to be true. Okay, that's why. Like the remainder theorem, when we had in section 3, was something that was meant to be true. In order to find the rational root theorem, and what does it mean to be rational is it's a number that can be written as a fraction. Root meaning it's one of the ones that works. Okay? So what you have to do in order to come up with a list of possible solutions, I'm going to give you problems like I gave you yesterday, but they're not going to be able to factor right away. Do you remember the one that a couple of sections ago in section 3 where I said here's one of the factors, run it through the synthetic division and then find the other factors? We did problems similar to this, we just didn't, but they gave you a starting point. I'm not going to give you a starting point now. You're going to have to find it. The rational root theorem works like this. It says, in order to find the list of possibles, you take P divided by Q. Now, you don't know what those are, and that's okay. What P is the factors of the constant. Which one's the constant? The one without the letter. Right. What is a factor? What numbers multiply together to give you that number? Not multiples. So like the factors of 2 are 1 and 2. Not 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and so on. Those are multiples. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to list out the factors of the constant, and then you're going to divide it by the factors of the lead coefficient. Okay? That's how you're going to find it. Everybody got that? Okay, so here's how your problems are going to look. It's going to say x to the third minus 8x squared plus 11x plus 20 equals 0. And yesterday, you would have been able to factor that and get it, and it worked out fine. That doesn't factor, or at least it doesn't factor by grouping. Okay? So, here's what we're going to do. First thing I want you to do is come up with the list of possible solutions. And in order to do that, I need you guys to think about what numbers multiply together to give you 20. Why the number 20? Because that's the constant. 1 and 20 is one group.
2 and 10.
Okay, hold on. So I heard 1, I heard 2, I heard a 10, I heard a 20, and I heard a 4, and I heard a 5. Is there any other numbers that multiply together to give you those? I can tell you with 100% accuracy that you are missing some. Right now you have half of them. Also, -1 times -20 would make 20. -2 and -10 would make 20. -4 and -5 would make 20. So when you list these, always put them as plus or minus right away. Because regardless if the number is a positive or negative in the back, it's going to be plus or minus for all of them. Because I could either have a +1 and a -20 or a -1 and a +20 in the back. So you're just automatically going to put plus or minus every time. Now, what number gives you the lead coefficient? What is the lead coefficient for this problem? 1. So what numbers multiplied together to give you 1? 1 and negative 1, right? So I just put it as plus or minus 1. If that number was not a 1, then what happens is I end up dividing all the different pieces. What you have to do now is you have to take every one of the ones in the top, divided by every single one of them on the bottom. What's 1 divided by 1? 1. What's 1 divided by 2? 2. Or, sorry, I said it wrong. 2 divided by 1. What's 4 divided by 1? 4. What's 5 divided by 1? 5. What's 10 divided by 1? 10. And what's 20 divided by 1? 20. So, that's a 1 with a comma. Is that better? Okay. All right, so what happened was, I'm going to tell you that right now in the world there's an infinite amount of solutions that you had to choose from, which means that's a lot of numbers, right? What you've done now is you've narrowed it down to 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 different possibilities. Now, here's how you find out which one that works. You're going to roll the dice, and what I mean by roll the dice is pick a number. Out of your list of possible solutions, pick a number. Start small. 2. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2 in the backwards L, and I'm going to synthetic divide it. What number do you think I'm going to look for at the end? Right. I want a 0. That's what I'm shooting for. So if I have 1, negative 8, 11, and 20, I'm hoping I get 0 in the remainder spot. If I do, yay! If I don't, we got to re-erase and start over. How does the process work again? It's been a few days since we did this. Drag the 1 down. 1 times 2 is? Insert it. Which is? Negative 6. Did it work? No. So here's what happens. I take my handy dandy eraser and I erase this line because that didn't work. I also erase this line because that didn't work. And I erase the 2 out of the contention. Try again. 4? 1? I don't know either. Pick one. 4. 1 times 4 is 4. What's negative 8 plus 4? Negative 4. What's negative 4 times 4? Negative 16 plus 11 is negative 5. Uh-oh. Negative 20. Woohoo! That means we got it. Okay, now, here's what happened. When we synthetic divided that like last week, remember it started with x to the third. You found one that worked. Yay, team. Now what's that down to? X to the second. Which means this is now x squared minus 4x minus 5 equals 0. That's what it is now. This is a quadratic. At this point in your mathematical careers now, most of that should probably factor. Later on, they're not going to always factor. You're going to have to use the quadratic formula. But for right now, most of those should factor for today. So, what times what gives me x squared? X times x. What times what gives me negative 5, but adds up to be negative 4? Negative 5 and plus 1. And when I set them each equal to 0, what would I get? X equals 5. Blah, blah, blah. X plus 1 equals 0. You said negative 1? Yeah? And what other number should I circle?
0.
Nope. What other number worked? 4 did. Right. So how many solutions did you get? 3. You got 4, you got 5, and you got negative 1. Awesome. This is how it's going to work. Okay? Now, have you ever seen or heard of a game that they have at casinos sometimes called craps? It's a dice game. One of the terms that they use in that is they call it a crapshoot, which means that's when the person shoots or rolls the dice. You picking the number 4 took 2 times to do that. How many times could it take you to find one that works? All of them in order to find one that finally works, right? So realistically, if we would have tried -1 first or 5 first, we would have got it 2. But it could take you a couple times to do it. You roll the dice and see what happens. There isn't a magical formula that says, hey, try this and it works all the time. It's a crapshoot. You don't know what's going to happen until you actually run it through the synthetic division. Okay? So, let's do another one. Shall we? F of x equals 10x to the 4th minus 11x to the 3rd minus 42x squared plus 7x plus 12.
So for these ones, they don't have like secularism and x squared.
When you synthetic divide it, good question. Question was that Kylie asked, if they're missing a term, do we put a 0 in there to hold the place when you synthetic divide? Absolutely. Okay, what times what gives you 12? So plus or minus 1, plus or minus 12.
What if it doesn't have a 12 and it just ends with a 7 times? Is that how it works?
If it didn't have the constant afterwards, then the constant's 0. What else? 2 and 6. I think I also heard somebody say 3 and 4. Okay. Now, when I'm writing these, just so that you guys did notice, I always start with 1 in the number. Then I go, does 2 go in there? Yes or no? If it doesn't, then I go to 3. Yes or no? 4. Yes or no? 5. And then I just keep working. These are paired together. So what numbers in between 3 and 4 are decimals or fractions? Those are not necessarily rational for this part, so therefore those aren't going to exist. Okay? Now, what times what gives you the lead coefficient? Plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 5, plus or minus 10. Because what times what gives you 10 is 1 and 10, 2 and 5. Anything else that I missed? No? Okay, now here's the way that you come up with the list. Every one of the tops divided by every one of the bottoms. This list is going to get big. What's 1 divided by 1? What's 1 divided by 2? No, 1/2. What's 1 divided by 5? 1/5. What's 1 divided by 10? 1/10. You've now done 1 divided by all the bottoms. 2 divided by 1. What's 2 divided by 2? 1. Do I need to write 1 twice? No. What's 2 divided by 5? 2/5. What's 2 divided by 10 reduced to? 1/5. I already have it. No need to write it twice. What's 3 divided by 1? What's 3 divided by 2? What's 3 divided by 5? What's 3 divided by 10? What's 4 divided by 1? What's 4 divided by 2? Do I already have that? Yep. What's 4 divided by 5? What's 4 divided by 10 reduced to? Do I have that already? Yep. What's 6 divided by 1? What's 6 divided by 2? Do I already have that? What's 6 divided by 5? What's 6 divided by 10? 3/5, which I already have. What is 12 divided by 1? What's 12 divided by 2? I already have that. What's 12 divided by 5? 12 over 5. And what's 12 over 10 reduced to? 6/5. Phew. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32 different possible solutions. How many do we have to find? 4. So, who wants to roll the dice first? 6? Okay. If I put 6 in there, let's see what happens. 10, negative 11, negative 42, 7, 12. Drop the 10. What's 6 times 10? 60 minus 11? 49 times 6. $294 minus 42. 252 times 6. 1512 plus 7. 1519. 1519 times 6. Is that going to be the opposite of 12? Yeah, no. Probably not going to happen. Okay? So, you tried. 6 didn't work. Warp, warp, warp. Try again.
2.
2?
Yeah.
10 times 2? 20 minus 11. 2 times 9? Negative 42 plus 18. Negative 24 times 2. Negative 48. Plus 7 is negative 41. 2 times negative 41? Negative 82. No. Wah, wah, blah. Can we do a half? Let me get rid of the positive 2 there. Hey, what's half of 10? 5. What is negative 11 plus 5? What's half of negative 6? Negative 3. Negative 42 minus 3 is negative 45, which makes that negative 45 halves, which makes that negative 31 halves, which makes that negative 31 fourths. Yeah, no. It was a good try. Hold on. I gotta get rid of all the ones that you guys told me. Okay, now which one are we on? 4? What's 4 times 10? 40 minus 11? 29 times 4. 1 what? 116 minus 42. 74 times 4. 296 plus 7. 303 times 4. Not going to cancel with 12. Can we just do 1? Yeah, why not? Maybe that'll give us some smaller numbers. Eventually it'll cancel stuff. Quit trying such high numbers right away. 1 times 10? Minus 1 is negative 43. Negative 43. 7. Negative 36. Not going to happen. Are you guys getting sick of synthetic dividing yet? Yeah? Sorry. 3/5? What's 3/5 times 10? Okay, here, let me backtrack then. What's 10 times 3? 30 divided by 5? What is negative 11 plus 6? Negative 5. What's negative 5 times 3/5? Negative 3. Which makes that negative 45. What's 3/5 times negative 45? Negative 27. Negative 27 plus 7. Negative 20. What's the magical number at the end? Negative 12. Yay! Finally, we found one that works. Thank you. Okay, now, so far we found one. Here's the bad news for you guys. How many are we supposed to find? 4. We've only found 1. So, here's what needs to happen now. This line that I have right now here, that's really starting at 10x to the third minus 5x squared minus 45x minus 20. This part now, this is where you're going to synthetic divide. Do not go back to the original. You're going to go to your new line and synthetic divide that. Use the same list, but you're going to start over with that line rather than going back to the original. Because what you want to do is you want to get it down so that it's down to an x squared. Once you get it to x squared, then we can use either the quadratic formula or factoring. So what number do you want to try now? 2/5? I heard 2/5 before anything. So 2/5. Drop the 10. 2/5 times 10. 20 over 5 reduces down to
10.
20 over 5 reduces to 4. Negative 1. Negative 2/5. Yeah, probably not going to work. Okay. Now what? Huh? 3/2? 3/2 of 10 is 15. 15 minus 5 is 10. 3/2 of 10 is 15, which is minus 30. 3/2 of negative 30 is what? Negative 45. Nope. That was a good guess, though. Oh. Which one? 110. 1/10 of 1 is 1, which is minus 4. That's negative 4/10. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep getting fractions. We already tried 2, it didn't work. Hey, you guys better find one quick.
Wait, so if it didn't work for the first one, it will work.
Right. Huh? Can I just try negative 1 and see if it works? Nobody's tried that one?
Negative 1?
Yeah. Negative 15, which is positive 15, which is minus 30, which is positive. Oh, so close. We already tried it, didn't work. If it doesn't work for the first one, it ain't gonna work for this one.
Could wait, did we do 3/5 already?
1/5.
We did 3/5 already once.
But could it work again?
It could, but it doesn't. Negative 1/2. I'm gonna get you started. What's negative 1/2 times 10? I did, because I was getting done with this problem. No, it's not 0. Negative 5 minus 5 is not 0, it's negative 10. Negative 10 and negative 1/2 make positive 5, which makes negative 40. And a negative half of negative 40 is positive 20, which makes nothing. Finally. Now, here's what happened. You have found 2 answers that works. So this row that's really way down here at the bottom is now this. (10x squared minus 10x minus 40). That's what that line's left over. Are you guys done with synthetic dividing? How many times have you guys done it? You've done it quite a few times just to get those 2 answers finally, right? Synthetic dividing can take you almost all the way there, but now you could have a situation where you might get stuff with square root left in it. But when I'm looking at that problem, the first thing I would do, let's try to factor it. Is there anything I can take out of all 3 terms? 10. Which gives me x squared minus x minus 4. If I divide everything out by 10, I have that. Now I'm going to ask you this question. What times what gives me negative 4 but adds it to be negative 1? Negative 2 and positive 2 when you add them gives me 0. Negative 4 and 1 when you add them gives me negative 3. Does it factor? No. So guess what you got to do? How else can you solve a quadratic if you can't factor it? Quadratic formula. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. What number is in your b position? Negative 1 plus or minus the square root of negative 1 squared minus 4 times what's in the a position? 1. And what's in the c? Fish. So when I clean this up, 2 negatives at the front become a positive 1. Good. Good. What's negative 1 squared? 1. What's negative 4 times 1 times negative 4? What's 1 plus 16? What's 1 times 2? How many answers are right there? 2. How many answers should I have? 4. Do you remember these 2 that we finally found after practicing all that synthetic division? There's all 4 answers. Yay, team! Okay? Now, I'm going to change it. I'm not going to give you the last one because that took a long time in order for us to get that part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it actually go over 3 days rather than just 2, because that took a long time to get. Because right now I've got about a minute to show you the last thing yet. Okay? And that'll take some time too. So this is how you're going to do every problem today. Some of them might take you a little bit of time. Okay? So on page 194 to 195.
I guarantee you tomorrow you're going to have a question on everything.
I'm not going to do that many. That's just the way it's going to be. Let's go. 25, 29, 33, and 37. That's every other odd. How many? Whatever the highest exponent is.